So we have Cloud Data Proc cluster, and this Cloud Data Proc cluster is not having scoop in it. So I will show you why I am saying so. This Dataproc cluster is having other components related to Hadoop and Spark, but it does not have scoop. If you go to VM instances, if you go inside the VM, let's do the SSH rather than going inside the VM directly from the Dataproc console. So if I do SSH inside the virtual machine, then we will be able to see which all components are there, and I will also try to run scoop command, and then I will show you scoop command is not available here. So if you just run scoop here, you will find scoop is not found. So that's the problem that we want to solve here, and we want to install scoop. So once we install scoop, then we will be able to import data from relational database into HDFS. So another thing that we can do later is bring data from RDBMS to HDFS and Hive both. So we are bringing data into HDFS and metadata into Hive. So those things we can work upon once the scoop is in place. So let's do installation of scoop here in the virtual machine. So when you are doing this installation, you will have to download the tarball. So this is available from the scoop repository. So I'm just using this command to download it. So we got this tar file, and we just need to do tar -xvf, and we'll extract it. So I'm just using this command, and you can get all these commands from the reference material that is available along with this video. So you can easily get all the instructions from there. After we extracted this, we can just do ls once and see we got the extracted version of the tar file, and now it is a folder. So we just need to move it into a simpler directory. So I'm just doing sudo mv, and I am moving it into a directory named scoop. Okay, so the directory is created now. I will just do sudo mv, and I will move this scoop under user lib folder, and this is all set. So I will just do ls once and see like whether we got the folder inside user lib. So we have scoop, yes, so we have scoop here. So this is all set. So we are having now the scoop in user lib directory. So I'm doing one change here in the configuration file so that the scoop is identified as a valid command in the terminal. So in order to do that, I will be changing my profiles file. So I'll be doing this cd, and I will be making a change here. So instead of cd, I can just directly do vi. That will be better. So let's do vi here. So I'm changing the user profile, and here I'm inserting the two export statements. So I will be writing scoop. So I'm exporting couple of variables here, environment variables. I'm doing export scoop home equals to user lib scoop. Okay, so this is fine. Next one is another command, another export command that I want to write here, and I will be writing like path equals to dollar path, and then colon. You can just specify the bin location. So this is scoop home, this is scoop underscore home, and after that you can just specify the bin. So this is fine. Like I just mentioned couple of things here. So let's do escape and save it and exit out of this. So we'll do source, and we'll do source profile. This is reloading all the environment variables that I have set in the profiles file, and it will be available in this terminal now. If I do echo, and if I do echo path, then I should be able to see scope related stuff and in the path, and I can also see scoop home. So this is available now. Okay, so both these things are done. Now I need to make certain changes in the scoop configuration file. So I will be going to user lib scoop and conf directory. So under that you will have this particular thing like scoop template. So let's do scoop env and template. So we are basically changing this into scoop env.sh. So I'm just making use of this template. I want to name it as scoop env.sh. So this is fine. I will now go inside this file and add a couple of exports, and we will be doing like sudo, and I'll be changing it right away. Okay, so now I just need to insert two exports here. So I will be doing export, and I will be writing Hadoop common. I can just quickly write this, and once it is all set, then I will basically be saving it, and then we will start running the scoop imports. So the intention of doing this is basically we are integrating scoop with the MapReduce or Hadoop environment, so that scoop is having access to the common libraries of Hadoop already installed on this machine. So this is common home, and then we have mapred and home, mapred home, and then we have user /lib /hadoop MapReduce. Okay, so this is, so let's save it. Okay, so now we are outside, and I will just make a small change related to Hive configuration also, that is moving a conf file of Hive from Hive directory. So it's not moving, actually it's like copying the file from Hive directory to scoop directory, so that when we do Hive import through scoop, then it should be aware about the metastore and other details. So I am just changing this to conf. Okay, so this is done. Now we need to configure connector also. So the next step is to create a symlink of the jar. We have MySQL connector jar, so I'm just creating that right now. Let's do it. Okay, so this is fine. Now once this is in place, I will basically be validating whether scoop is running okay or not. So we can see now scoop command not found error is no more there. So this is fixed because I just configured and placed scoop in the right directories and everything. Those things are done. So that's why scoop is fine. Like if you can even do scoop version, and you can see like what it shows the exact version of the scoop here, right? So now the next part is to work with the database, the relational database we want to set up. So we will be using certain commands. So we'll be stopping MySQL, we will be stopping MariaDB, we will be changing the password of MariaDB. So these things we will be doing right away. So both are stopped now. We just need to start the daemon in a safe mode so that it does not check those permissions. So we are starting the database in safe mode so that it does not do a lot of checks related to permission. So this is done. So I just hit enter. Sometimes it does not come to the next line, so you need to hit enter here. And after that, you can actually go inside MySQL and you can use the username as root, and we don't have to specify the password here. So I will be using a command flush privileges. So this command is basically reloading the grant tables. So this is something which database administrators use very frequently. So it's kind of database administration related activity that we are doing. So no need to worry in case you are not very much familiar with these commands, but just understand that we are basically just following a standard procedure to change the password of the root user right now. So I'm just doing alter user and then it is root, and after that I'm changing to, this is localhost, and so I'm changing it to password. So I just wrote a line to alter this user root on the database server localhost, and the password is password. So once this is done, now again we can use that command flush privileges, and we can actually restart the MariaDB, and we will see if password has come into effect or not. So let's do this flush privileges, and we will come out of it using exit, and then we will go to the Unix shell, terminal shell, and here we will just use this to kill any MySQL daemon process ID. And then I'm just restarting the MariaDB. So I think we already used MariaDB. Yes. So here instead of stop, I will change it to restart or start. So I can do simple start. So this is starting the MariaDB, and I will basically be now logging into MySQL. But this time when I log in, it will ask for the password. Let's try it. Okay. So it will say password is not there. So I need to specify the password, because we already assigned a password here.